good car. It's very powerful, very light for what it is. On paper, those numbers are pretty big. It says it's pretty heavy, but it feels very light. Now, we're gonna pull over up here and we're gonna look at the interior and exterior of this car and really talk about the specs and the looks of this car. This is the 2024 BMW G80 M3 Comp. This one's in velvet blue, carbon ceramics down there, and the interior is absolutely beautiful. Orange interior all around, carbon bucket seats, which one of my favorite parts of these seats is that you can see them, you can see all the carbon from the back. So if you're sitting in the back seat, you get in here, see all of the carbon back here. I think that's just amazing. Now this one actually has a carbon fiber roof, which is a free option with BMW. You can choose either that or the sunroof, and they're both free. I think the carbon fiber roof really fits this car. So this one also has the laser headlights compared to the base headlights that are free on this car. Another thing is the carbon fiber pack, which adds carbon here, carbon all along the dash right there. And there's lots more carbon on this car, but all around it's just carbon everywhere. There's also the carbon fiber splitter, and what a beautiful car. I mean, it's got quad tip exhaust. So the real difference between this competition and the base M3 is the base M3 you can get in a manual, which only comes in rear wheel drive, and this is X drive, of course. The competition also has more horsepower than the standard M3. The standard M3 has 473 horsepower compared to this 503 horsepower, which I don't know the exact numbers of torque, but it feels very torquey, like good. There's not much turbo lag, but I guess we can get to that in the actual in-car review. So I've been driving the car for a few hours now, and with the carbon buckets, I find them pretty comfortable. For all this driving, they're not too bad. Little uncomfortable, but at the same time, that's what you buy an i7 for, or a more luxury car. This is more sporty. It's meant to go fast. It's meant to hold you in. You can track it. You can do anything with it, compared to the i7, and those are really just comfort and luxury. So these also come with an BMW S58 engine, which is a twin turbo inline six. This one makes 550 horsepower, or 503 horsepower, which is the same as a 992 GT3. Surprising. BMW did a great job on this engine, and probably one of the better engines from BMW. I mean, I love like the old E92 M3s, you know, the V8s and the V10s from the M5s, but this is just quick. It's not very noisy, but it's quick. Now, a few of my favorite color combos are green on tan, blue on tan, and I think this does a great job showing that. This is more of a purple in person. It kind of looks blue on camera, but it's a good mix of the two. They call it velvet blue, but it looks pretty purple. And the orange interior does a great job. I personally love these orange seats. I mean, all the detail that goes in here. The seat belts with the the BMW M stitching on them. Also, the speakers, Harman and Kardon, or Harman/Kardon, whatever you want to say. They are amazing. The sound system on this car is great. It sounds very good. It's loud. All in all, I would say this is a great daily sports car where you can put 5 people in it and you can carry golf clubs, you can carry your hockey bag, you can put anything in it, and it does its job being a sports daily. I would personally daily this. Some people might prefer luxury cars, or as I keep saying, the BMW i7, it's more comfortable, or like an X5M, they're more comfortable, but this just gives a better feeling. So now that we're in the G80, it's a really light car, as I said before, and it drives amazing. This is probably one of the best cars I've ever driven. Right now, we're driving some back roads in Oakville, Ontario, getting a feel for the car. It's fun. Now, is it comfortable? I've been in the car for 2 hours or more, and I don't feel very uncomfortable. I'd say the buckets are pretty stiff. It can be very uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say I'm like, I want to get out of the car immediately. It's still fun to drive. But honestly, this isn't the car you buy that for. The 7 Series is, if you want something comfortable, you buy a 7 Series. If you want something sporty and fast, you buy this. So for this car, BMW has decided to go for a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. The car also comes in a manual, but this one specifically is the ZF 8-speed. I drove this car from the city to here, to where we are, the back roads, and through the city, the gearbox was very smooth. The shifts were, I didn't feel them. The car opts for a higher gear, I'd say, in comfort mode, and all around it, it's comfortable. You don't feel like you're in a sports car until you switch it to M2 over here, which I don't know, I think it's personal preference, or I think you can change the way it is, but right now, M2 on this car, the setup for this one is Sport Plus engine, Sport Plus chassis, which is the suspension and everything. The steering is on comfort, the brakes are on sport, and then it's on four-wheel drive. And I can put it in manual now, shift down, and go. So right now we're driving through city roads, lots of construction. It's very bumpy, but this car takes them well. Like, I'd say I feel them, of course, but I don't feel like I have to swerve for every bump. Yeah, it feels like the car takes it good. It's good for daily driving again. So right now we got to fill up the car. It's on fuel reserve, but while it's on fuel reserve, I put it on the M1 mode, which is the comfort mode for this car, set by the owner. And so the engine's on efficient mode, the chassis is on comfort, the steering is on comfort, the brakes are on comfort, and it's still on four-wheel drive. We're cruising now. The car's quiet. It's nice and quiet. It doesn't sound crazy. It takes bumps definitely better. It feels better for everyday driving. I wouldn't say it feels better. Like, I personally would enjoy driving it in sport mode. But if you want an everyday drive, maybe you live downtown Toronto or some busy area and you just want to drive it to work, then comfort works amazing. Long day of work, you want to get home and you don't want to be sitting in an uncomfortable car, the comfort mode works amazing. But of course you still get the fun that you would out of the car when it's in sport mode. So one thing with this car is it's a great daily. The only problem with dailying it is how much you have to fill it up with gas. It's not too much of a problem though, because it's not too expensive to fill up the tank. The owner said it's 117, 120 Canadian dollars to fill up a full tank. And that's 91, I assume. Yeah? 93, okay. So 93, it's $117 to fill up the full tank, which is, I'd say that's great. Like, on our Cayenne that I have, it's like $180 to fill up on 91 a full tank. That's a lot. But he says he has to fill this up once every 4 days. Not too bad, but still one thing to take into consideration. Another great practical thing about this car is the amount of stuff you can put in this car. Now, I've seen one guy put 4 tires. If he puts down all the seats, he can fit 4 tires all in the back. Now, it's also great for, of course, just going to get groceries or doing whatever shopping you need. If it's from Home Depot or whatever, it all fits. And you can take this car anywhere. You won't have to worry about, I can't fit all my stuff in this car. And like I said earlier, you know, you want to go golfing, you can fit your golf bag in there. You want to go hockey practice, hockey game, fit the hockey bag in there. Wow, this car pulls. And it takes I've been taking some turns, been hitting these like that. It's taking these turns sharp. I'm feeling full, whoa, hello. I'm feeling full sense of control on this car. This car handles these back roads so well. And again, in this car, I don't feel much turbo lag. Like, when you hit the gas, it kicks in almost instantly. So now to end the video, I'm going to be giving this car a score out of 1 to 10 in 6 different categories. And I'm going to be comparing this car to newer BMW M lineup. I'm going to be comparing this to just the new BMW M's. So I'm not going to be comparing it to other cars, just the M's, excluding the SUVs. So just for like the coupes and the sedans, like the M5s and the M8 and the M4 and the M2. So to start, the first category we have is acceleration. The M3 is really quick on acceleration, not as fast as the M4, and probably, I haven't driven an M2, the G87, but I think it's faster just because it's all-wheel drive. It's not as fast as the M5 or the M8 though, acceleration-wise. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 on that factor. Now, when it comes to handling, this car handles perfectly. Now, it doesn't handle as good as an M4 or an M2, but it handles better than an M5 or an M8. That will get an 8 out of 10. Styling-wise, I'm going to give this, personally, a 9 out of 10, just because of the spec, and it's not a boring car. Like, it's into... Sorry, a fire truck interrupted. But the spec, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, just because BMW individual paint, orange interior, it's got everything. It looks amazing. It's got the carbon pack, it's got all the carbon options. In terms of comfort, I'm going to go for a 7 out of 10. Now, I think that you can definitely go comfort seats and you can make it more comfortable. That's why I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. Especially compared to, I think the M5 is probably more comfortable. I hear the M8 is very uncomfortable, so maybe that bumps it up a bit. But it's not the most comfortable car. Like, it's comfortable, but it's not the most comfortable. Now, when it comes to practicality, this deserves a 9 out of 10, almost a 10 out of 10. I think it's the most practical BMW M currently, like, other than the M5, but I think this might have more luggage storage capacity than an M5 will. We'll have to see, but I think it might be tied up in there with the M5 or the M8 Grand Coupe, but I'm not sure if the M8 Grand Coupe has as big of a trunk, so I'm gonna give it somewhere between a 9 and 10, so maybe a 9.5 out of 10. Now that's how I rank this car, and overall the experience and the enjoyment of this car is unmatched. It's probably one of the most fun cars I've ever driven. It's quick when you want to accelerate. Oh, ambulance going by. It's quick when you want to accelerate. You can just hit the sport mode button and you can take off. There's so many fun things about this car that you can do, and being able to do that while also holding 5 people and holding your golf clubs or holding all your storage, luggage, and going to work every day in this car, I think that's just why this is probably, if I were to choose any car in the BMW M lineup, it would either be this or an F82 M4. Those are probably my 2 picks, like probably some of my favorites. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. That's my first ever car review, and I'm hoping to do more. I think the video went great.